The usual glitches, but hope we haven't lost our watchers that all tuned in promptly at 4 o'clock, because that's when
that's when everybody would tune in.
Yeah, that's right, and then they'd see we're not here.
Mm-hmm.
We ought to have a way to put up a test pattern or something there to let them know we're.
We can do that.
We might have to do that. So anyway, this Jimmy Doane show here. It's Monday, 21st or something of August. 22nd of August.
Happy birthday, Liz.
Yeah, there you go. Happy birthday, yeah. And let's see, Jimmy Doane Show. You can call in. Of course, up there's the number, and we also have a Facebook rant. Check out, I think it's JD Show or something on Facebook. That I do that every morning at 10 o'clock. A short rant of about 10 minutes or so on whatever has caught me in the morning. Before what it is, as Rush says, it's show prep. But it's show prep for Rush. You see, when I do my little rant, it's something that is going to be talked about by the other hosts during the day.
Okay.
Because I'm always ahead of the curve.
Right.
So anyway, lots of stuff happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we're not going to get to all of it. I mean, but the point of contention today on so many levels is the South China Sea.
The South China Sea.
Right. And that has become another taunt point, as I call it. Mm-hmm. They are taunting each other. And of course, it has to do with disputed. There's a bunch of there's a couple of man-made islands out there that China made, but this is a huge shipping point. I mean, like a third of the world's business or something goes through that channel.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of the Spratly Islands, and there's some stuff that's claimed by Japan and some that's claimed, and there's overlapping jurisdictions,
overlapping claims. Yeah.
Overlapping claims, right? And of course, they're starting to bring out the guns. And and so anyway, here's some of the new developments I want to go through. Of course, it's all about the money, because it's about of course, the little islands, of course, have got some reserves and stuff, and that's why they want to have them. And I think China's already put an air base on one of their little.
Oh yeah, no, they're totally arming those little enclaves.
Yeah. So anyway, of course, the Philippines also have an interest in this, and the president, he's kind of begged out on this for the time being. He's obviously not going to confront China.
Our president or the president?
No, the president of the Philippines.
Right. Okay.
Rodrigo Duerte.
Well, they just blew up a bunch of shipping lanes.
Blew them up?
I mean, a bunch of ships.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Just fishing boats. As a little show of force.
Who did?
I think the Philippines.
Filipinos blew some up?
Yeah, I might have to check that. I could be confusing that with Taiwan.
Okay, well, again, I think they're in that same neighborhood, aren't they?
They might be, yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, anyway, we're going to go through the article here, and we'll mention some of this stuff here. So anyway, the what they've done, of course, is with the inscrutable Chinese, the Philippine president has decided to have secret talks, because nobody likes to, the Chinese especially, are not. You know how it works, like the Japanese. They're inscrutable, and what they say is not what they mean.
Yeah, well, yeah. What they want to do is save face. They want to go back and figure it all out and come out and announce it. And and they're all bent out of shape right now because of the international court's ruling.
Right.
That they don't have jurisdiction.
The people in The Hague, was that in the Netherlands someplace, I guess. Anyway, the international court has said that has told China, and of course where are their soldiers? And China has done one of these.
Yeah. Well, and they're literally physically taking control of those islands.
Right.
So if somebody doesn't do something fast, it's going to be a moot
point. Yeah, but
what?
What are you going to do? I mean.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that they should. I'm saying if they don't, China's going to own them pretty soon, and China probably should own them. It's the South China Sea.
Well, I would imagine the Japanese call it something else.
Sea of Japan.
Yeah, Sea of Japan, right? Whatever. I mean, and of course, I think the Spratly Islands are they're some kind of almost independent thing.
They're ours or something, I thought.
I don't know. Again, I don't know. The Philippine Coast Guard took possession last week of what they call a multi-role response. They're getting 9 of them, and this is to bolster their claim to defending their claims or whatever. Of course, these are little nothing boats. They're just, I don't know, they got like 2-inch guns or something. I guess. Anyway, alongside the U.S. military's heightened emphasis on the Asia-Pacific region, Japan has been upping its presence in the South China Sea and Indian Ocean, partly to counter China's growing footprint. And the problem, of course, is that the Philippines and Japan are both U.S. treaty partners, one for all and all for one. So ostensibly,
If they go to war with China, so do we.
So do we, right? And that's really sweet. So I will tell you something later here in just a minute about that. So claims the sovereignty over a string of uninhabited islands on the East China Sea controlled by Japan and has lately stepped up its Coast Guard activities. Closer cooperation between Japan and the Philippines is sure to anger China. And of course, what I like about this is Japan angers. Well, it's not the people.
Right.
It's like the two guys at the top are somehow have to save face. And
Yeah.
so that's one of the things that have in a accompanying article called "China called SDF dispatch to South China Sea a red line and hinted at military action if sent." And the just so you'll know, SDF stands for South. Let's see, it's a defense force. Let me just see here. The Self-Defense Forces, SDF, or the Self-Defense Forces, to join U.S. operations in the test of freedom of navigation. Diplomatic said so. They're going to send some test ships through there. They've already done a couple of them. I think they sent a warship of some kind through there.
Well, we've done it a couple of times.
Right, that's what I meant. And so they're getting this again. This is the I shall taunt thee 1,000 times or something, and you wonder, what could possibly go wrong? I mean, as soon as somebody bumps into somebody else, or
Well, it's kind of a tough situation because do you just let a country expand? Do you do something about it? Like you said, it's all a test of wills of the leaders, really.
And it's saving face. I mean, these particular people. I mean, the United States likes to save face, but not like these guys.
Yeah, no.
These guys
it's a big, important
big
part of
into that. Yeah, I mean that's part of the culture.
Right.
And so, as some not our glorious leaders, but normally in our normal conversations with other Americans, if somebody accuses you of something, okay, whatever.
Whatever.
I don't care. So.
I did that.
Yeah, right. So what? And we don't. I mean, we just let it slide. But boy, those guys, if the insults go. So anyway, China is expected to continue warning Japan. Chinese Foreign Minister so and so will likely meet Foreign Minister from Tokyo, and with South Korea. Japanese government has no plans to join the freedom of navigation operations in which the United States since October has sent warships near the artificial islands that China has built, but it's left room for sending security defense forces, whatever they call it, SDF ships to the disputed waters to protect U.S. ships under the new security laws that have expanded SDF overseas. So in other words, what they're going to do is, it's like, I guess they're going to be like convoy in the World War II, where you have our warships protect the stuff going through the what could go wrong kind of stuff. I mean, it's senseless. And of course, so Cheng told the high-level official in Tokyo that Japan would not take part in joint military action. He also said China will not concede on sovereignty issues and is not afraid of military provocations.
Of course.
Gauntlet? I don't know.
Well, it's all yappity yap.
There's even more coming later in this thing. The official told Cheng that Japan has no plans to join U.S. operations, but strongly criticized China's construction of outposts in the waters. The exchange took place amid heightened tensions sparked by a territorial dispute, so that sort of thing. Let me just see if I got something else. So they lodged Japan to lodge a protest against the unprecedented move. I guess that's whatever, these people marching around in there. And of course, he said the Japan guy said that they would take, quote, necessary actions if Chinese naval ships entered its territorial waters, and this may indicate that such military intrusion is Japan's red line. That would lead it to mobilize its maritime self-defense force. And of course, I would imagine, I'm not sure, but when those guys talk about a red line, I don't think it's the same red line that Obama does.
That's part of the face thing. Once they do a red line, man, it's a real line.
Yeah.
And
didn't mean it not going to happen. No.
Yeah,
no. That's what I'm saying. That's as much as anything is this. That's really throwing down the gauntlet. So and of course, concurrently with this, South Korea and U.S. begin drills despite North Korea's threat of nuclear strikes.
Well, hold on a second, and let me get you over to South Korea.
Okay, you're going to get me over to South Korea?
Yeah. Watch this. bam!
Okay.
Jimmy's at the border.
Yeah, that's right, at the border, right, that's right. Yeah, here it is, buddy. So anyway, South Korea and the United States.
Chain link fence behind you and stuff. Don't get shot over there.
Yeah, no. And it's amazing how I can transport from place to place.
That's right, that's right. I think we got a bulletproof glass shield behind you, though.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah. So anyway, South Korea and the United States began annual military drills on Monday, despite North Korea's threat of nuclear strikes in response to the exercises that it calls an invasion rehearsal. So, and of course they do come pretty close. I mean, when they do this stuff, the latest warning comes at a time of more tension following the defection of a senior North Korean diplomat and a U.S. plan to place high-tech defense missile system in South Korea. Mm-hmm. This is like a mobilization on both. Again, what could go wrong? I mean, if they ramp up,
it's a tricky situation.
Tricky.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about the North guy, I mean, he might be sane-ish, but but I mean, he literally has a button on a nuclear button.
Yeah, but he's got like one.
So and
if he launches the one, then we glass the place. I mean, the retaliatory response would be ridiculous unless he has China's backing, really.
Well, what happens? What happens if he sends 1 million men over the border and down to Seoul?
Tactical nuclear strike. I mean, very theoretically, we could, we got a sub over there. It hits them with a little Merving Trident missile, and the 5-mile stretch around the border is vaporized. I mean, that's if 1 million men coming down there. I mean, I would imagine there would be.
Well, the border, I don't know how long it is, but it's 100 miles or something, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and that would be tough. I mean, but
how many nukes would you have to, to seal it off?
A few.
You can imagine the environmentalists.
Well, yeah, but what are you going to say? They're coming through the woods anyway. So there's going to be either they're going to take, Gangnam, or they're going to get wiped out, and we could certainly do that. I mean, I bet you one submarine loaded with Trident missiles. Is it the Trident submarine or is it Trident missiles on the?
The Poseidons are all gone, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to Los Angeles class.
The Los Angeles class. Is that the one that was in Hunt for Red October?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
It's the only reason I know that.
It was called that. That's the only reason you know. Right. Oh, what a great movie that is. I mean, that was one of the... I've watched that mucho times.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. They have like 12 or 18 Trident missiles. Each Trident missile has a Merving warhead with like 800 kiloton bombs on it. So I mean, you're talking about a pretty stretch of land that if you lined it all up, they could do some. Whew, man, it would not
be the same anymore. I'll
no.
tell you that. And the North Korea's first strike units, he says, are ready to mount retaliatory attacks on South Korean and U.S. forces involved in the drills. The North's military said, and of course this is what happened to Japan. The North's military said in a statement Monday that it will turn Seoul and Washington into a, quote, heap of ashes through a Korean-style preemptive nuclear strike if they show any signs of aggression towards the North's territory.
Good luck with that.
Well, good luck with Washington being in ashes, but
right.
But
they might get Los Angeles.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the maybe I would say San Francisco would be more like it, but no.
The San Andreas is probably what you.
Yeah, right. Clink. There's who was it? Gene Hackman and Oberville. What was his name? Wilburville or Otisville?
Otisburg.
Otisburg. Right. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, South Korea's Unification Ministry expressed strong regret. Over the North's warning, saying the drills with the U.S. are defensive in nature. Of course, they always are. And it's a 12-day run and largely computer-simulated war, key the Whopper. And the training involves 25,000 American troops and 50,000 South Korean soldiers, according to the military people. But it's funny because there's about 28,500 troops in South Korea to deter aggression.
Our troops?
Our troops. Americans been in there for 60 years, and a legacy of the 1950 through 53 Korean War that ended, by the way, with an armistice, not a
Right.
peace treaty.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting because that's what started the Second World War.
Well, but this
I mean, in a
one's-
way, I mean, that was an armistice. That wasn't a
Right.
peace treaty.
Right. Well, it gives them a little bit more leeway. But, they huff and puff every year or so. Every time we go over there and do military drills with South Korea and the Philippines and whoever else, the Norks get all bent out of shape about it. They get all bent out of shape and they make, we'll turn you to ashes and we've got our finger on the button and it's just a matter of time now. And
the
stuff
thing
like
is, if they got one nuke, they can make more.
Well, that
And they
is
are
true.
testing their missiles.
Yes, that is. They did fire one either over or pretty close to Japan.
Yeah.
Recently.
In the Sea of Japan, aka Sea of China. No, I don't know.
Yeah, right,
It was close enough that the Japan minister sternly
Yeah.
warned them about something, whatever. So they're not exactly friends since World War II because
Oh God, the Japanese made a bunch of enemies over there,
I mean,
tearing people.
they really did. So anyway, but my
Love
point
you guys.
is that this is one of those things that instead of backing down, it's ramping up ever so slowly.
Yeah,
And
this is one of those
trigger
hot points.
It's a trigger point. I
Yeah.
mean, they got a tripwire over there, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And it could be an accident.
Yeah.
Like the murder of the Archduke or something like. They're all really pissed off about that guy who defected. He was really high up. The guy that defected. He was on a trip to London. I mean, he's one of these negotiators, one of the few 6 people that are ever allowed out of North Korea, and he was like the intelligence person.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And he decided to go into maybe he's going to join Snowden or whoever who's holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy. I don't know. That's Julian, isn't it?
Yeah, Assange.
Assange. Yeah, so they can be bunk buddies or something. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway. We're keeping an eye on the South China Sea.
Okay, all
Moving
right.
along.
All right, hold on a second, and I'll transition this with a little mojo.
Okay.
Slow on track. Oh, yeah, I'm working my
Where we go next?
We're going to go to Paris, where the Chinese are not right protesting.
Okay.
So we're going to go out to see one of the protests, I think.
Okay. Well, here you are back in Paris.
Okay, good. And so we were talking about the Chinese march. They're all panicking. Of course, I think they're making a big mistake. They about 1,800 people from the Chinese community in France took part in a march near Paris Sunday, calling for greater security after a deadly robbery earlier this month.
So some Chinese people got robbed in
Yes.
France,
And of course-
they marched on.
Well, I guess they went downtown Paris and started marching, and they want, they want liberté, égalité, so forth.
Egalite, yeah.
Yeah, right.
in
And so
French.
this is where Zhang Shaolin, a 49-year-old tailor, died after being set upon by 3 thieves. Now, they don't tell you anything about the nationality of the 3 thieves.
Huh. So
And
they're clearly French.
They're clearly French, right? I'm thinking there's hijab or something involved.
Could be.
Could be, but they are careful to leave out any mention of a.
Well, the press doesn't want to give you any information.
No,
You
right.
might
They had tried to
abuse.
snatch a bag and have died a few days later from injuries sustained in the altercation.
Altercation.
And of course, there are frequent. See, here's the Chinese spokesperson says there are frequent attacks, but we don't sue, whatever that means. It means complain because we don't speak good French, and we're working, and we don't have time," said one protester. Somebody, what's his name here? We're willing.
They're getting like the 1800s American treatment from, I mean.
You mean what? Well, I mean the population is only like 12 million, so
Yeah, I mean,
Paris.
Yeah, I was about to say. And a tiny percentage of them, I would imagine, are Chinese.
Right.
And so they probably get just the short end of the stick at every turn.
Sure, but I mean, what's interesting is these. I'll bet you they're not no-go zones.
No. I
I
know.
mean,
but
I imagine they could do it if they want. But
Oh,
again,
sure.
there's 2 things to consider here. we're appealing to the state because we are French citizens, and we don't feel that we are considered as such. And that could very well be.
Yeah,
That could very well
that's
be.
true.
I mean, they look different.
Well, yeah.
And
as we've said in
and
the
they have
past,
their own little enclave, basically.
France isn't exactly the. I mean, you talk about. We talk about here the melting pot, and you call it a stew.
Right.
And over there, it's like different plates on
They're
the same
enclaves.
table. Yeah, exactly.
They're enclaves. Yeah, I mean, seriously, there's no common culture
No.
between these people.
No,
and that
not
that
really.
can always. Yeah, no. I mean, and of course, if they speak French as well as those people over here speak English, I'm not surprised anybody understands anybody.
Yeah, well, I don't know who they are, but
Well, this is the pizza, the chow mein pizza.
oh, you mean our Chinese.
Yeah,
guys.
our Chinese.
Our Chinese speak pretty good English.
Some do.
Well, the restaurants,
The restaurant does, but
Well, no, I was going to say the restaurants don't. The workers, because they're brought in. That's one of the ways that Chinese people immigrate to the United States. Is they get jobs at Chinese restaurants, and you can overstaff them.
Right.
And without any real penalty or anything,
Right.
and they get over here, and then they can do other work as long as they, host on Saturday or something at the Chinese restaurant.
Well, they certainly ought to. If they're going to do any other work, it seems like they're going to have to learn English.
Maybe.
Well, I can tell you this one that was over here. That was I don't know if you know this, but the Chinese restaurant, the little walk-through places, the walk-in places, the ones where it's not where you sit down exactly. It's
Okay.
It's a takey out.
Okay.
Okay. There's more of those than there are McDonald's in this country.
Oh yeah, I would imagine.
So
Chinese
anyway-
food's very popular.
Yeah, I know, and it's just, and they're usually family-owned kind of
Yeah.
stuff and everything. But I have seen them quite often hire an American to take the orders.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And the money.
Yeah, and the money, right?
Well, yeah, that's great. And like we've talked about in the past, I mean, first-generation immigrants don't do so well in
Right.
terms of immigrating and adapting and everything. But if they have kids,
Yeah, no, the kids are, they're almost, depending on when they start, they're fluent.
they're more American than we are by the time they get to be 16, 18, because
Yeah.
they learn English better than anybody else on
We're going to
purpose.
Pokemon Go today. I'm going to talk about that.
Okay.
So anyway, there's been a tripling of violent robbers in this little enclave outside Paris, who are seen as lucrative prey because they're thought to carry large sums of cash
Probably.
in their person.
Probably.
So anyway, but my point is that
Lots of cash,
asking
no
for the
protection.
government to protect them is stupid.
Well-
you need to.
Well, you can't. It's not like you can really arm up over there. I think.
No, but I mean, you can more stick together, I think, or something. I mean, I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, I'm with
but
you.
asking the government to come in, that's stupid. I mean, they're not designed to do
It's
that.
a waste of a good day.
Yeah.
They could have been organizing the community or something.
Right.
Yeah.
You never ask the government to do anything because they're going to go.
Well, especially if you're the super minority in France.
Yeah.
That's, like you said, you're not going to get anywhere. Much better concept to rally some troops together, form a little guardian angels group
You're right.
to patrol the streets doing some kung fu or something.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Take them out.
That's it.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just interesting. What caught my eye on that was that they were asking the government to do something, and boy, that's you never call the police.
Well, yeah, well, not here.
Now here, I mean, here you don't call the police because you're liable to end up dead.
Right.
That's the last thing you want to do. So anyway, that's what I had to say on that.
Okay, all right, let me transition this here.
I don't know if we have a picture for this next item.
Where are we taking you?
Well, actually we're doing a Clinton campaign thing.
Oh, I can beam you directly to campaign headquarters.
Okay.
Now, watch this.
Okay.
Watch this. Bam!
Okay. So the transporter works.
Oh yeah!
All
Oh yeah!
right.
It's alive and active.
I'm glad
at
to
this
see
point.
this. So anyway, what this has to do is, so we're back. Jimmy Doane Show, which we're back. I mean, this is the Jimmy Doane Show. We try and come on about 4 o'clock. We're a little late, but you can call us.
That's right. I was having trouble with the transporter.
Yeah, trouble with the transporter, right? A little short circuit. But you can call us and we can talk to you on the phone or something. So live, we try and get here on YouTube about 4 o'clock every day. Today
Yep.
had a little glimpse of it. So anyway, this is what's amazing to me. The Clinton campaign is halfway to a $1 billion fundraising goal.
Well, both campaigns made it over $1 billion last time.
Right, but the last time it was the real Republicans. I mean, it was the inner circle RNC people.
Yeah, sure.
that did it. This time there's a dissension in the ranks.
Right.
So, and of course Donald just
He doesn't need $1 billion though. He doesn't need.
No,
need $300 million because he's getting all the free press anyway.
He just had to loan to do some targeting ads, which he just started. He loaned his own campaign $200 million. Was it $200 million? No, $2 million. $2 million.
Okay.
It's $2 million.
Okay.
So that he's starting off kind of slow there, you know.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting. So anyway, Hillary's campaign is halfway on the way to raising $1 billion. Her campaign has resisted publicizing the fundraising target for the general election, fearing, with good reason, it would draw attention to big donors at a time when voters are angry about the role of money in politics. She aimed to raise $100 million, and she raised $90 million, and this was in July for according to finance reports. She has maintained a staff of about 700 for months, opened up offices across the country, and already spent $67 million on general election ads. This week, she'll spend at least $10 million more. Okay, GOP. Okay, yesterday was no T day.
Okay, but today's no H day.
Yeah, no, we did the H, but now I'm gonna because we started with H. I'm gonna go over to T and say Trump.
Okay,
I'll say the word.
Okay.
GOP rival Donald Trump raised $80 million for his campaign and the Republican Party, including a $2 million contribution from Trump himself. He's kept his payroll to about 70 employees as opposed to 700.
Well, you know, if you think about it, 700 is not that many. Well, that's like 12
Nationwide.
per state. Yeah, exactly. 12.
Well, you don't bother with, Idaho or someplace like that. They're in the battleground.
So you got
states.
50 in California.
Yeah.
Think about it, though. I mean, how big is California? 50 people. You put 10 in San Francisco, 10 in San Diego,
Right.
10 in Los Angeles,
Right.
10 in the suburbs or something in Riverside or wherever. I mean,
You don't put them in Riverside right now.
because they die.
Because they would die from the flames.
Well, yeah, so that's not a huge staff, but you're right. She's in a sucky position because she has to go out and hit up the big donors now for the big bucks, and he's in a cardinal position because
Clinton's campaign is in the midst of a fundraising blitz with 43 events planned in 14 states over the next 2 weeks, according to the schedule.
Sure.
Okay, she was spending the weekend greeting donors on Massachusetts' Cape Cod before heading to California for a series of events at the homes of Hollywood celebrities and Silicon Valley entrepreneurs. Later this month, she will head to the Hamptons for another. And if you know the Hamptons, of course, that's where your starting price is like $10 million or something. So obviously, and of course, Barack Obama had hosted an event in Martha's Vineyard, where he was vacation, and so the point is, she's going after the big bucks. That's for sure.
she's going to the poor people.
Yeah, no. This is not a Bernie campaign at all. No, she's going to ask these people. They're going to have to be given $100,000 or something.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that. And they're certainly. I mean, if you don't think that she's bought and paid for, and to
Well,
hear
the
her
thing
talk
about
about, I'm here
that-
for you, little people.
The thing about that is, if 100 people give $1 million, let's say, out of these things, what do each one of those people think they're going to get? If they have conflicting views, who is she quote unquote bought by? And so it in some ways it both conscripts her to do their bidding if they really rattle the cage, but it also. She can also say, look, I'm getting that money from 20 different sources, or thousands of sources, or hundreds of sources at least. And there's no way those people can have their individual wills affected unless they have pet projects.
Well, pet projects are one thing, but I can tell you this much. This is the kind of donations that get folded into the TPP or trade agreements.
Well, right, that's
where the big. So in other words, what I'm saying
your
is,
company will benefit.
Right, and the point is because all big companies like Colgate and whoever else, all of those kinds of companies are going to be wrapped into the trade agreement.
Right.
So
and you can bet. I'll bet you if you could see the donor list, the top of the donor list and then compare that with the favorable legislative activity.
Oh, no question. No, you can Google that and find out. They are always talking about that kind of stuff.
Well, that's true. These days, the stuff that the government does is not sweeping measures. It's very pointed measures.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. When they have a 2,000-page trade agreement, that there's, every single page is narrowly laser-like for some particular group.
Right. And they can be at all different scales, too.
Well, what's funny about this, in a way, is what the destruction that this brings to the economy is that they leave out the small mom and pop organizations that do this. They get the short end. They have to pay for it. And they get the short end of the stick. They don't get the special treatment on this stuff. And by the nature of the business, anybody gets special treatment. Everybody else does not. That's exactly right.
Unspecial treatment.
Again, I've said this for 20, 30 years. Mm-hmm. The government is in the business of choosing losers and winners, not just winners. It's losers.
Right.
And so in a broad spectrum of this kind of stuff, there's tons of losers, but they don't pay enough money, enough bribe money.
It's hard to say, though, which of the two candidates we have now would be more inclined and adept at getting their constituents' deals in these agreements.
Well,
I mean, Trump is obviously a really good deal maker. He's going to organize. If he has to redo the TPP to suit his constituency people, he'll line them right up, and they'll be right there at the door. I'm sure either one of them could do that with ease.
Well, what Trump has done, actually, I don't know, he's got a promoted Facebook page and someplace else where he's asking for donations, and so he has a grassroots Bernie type thing going for him. Also, and he's raising some serious money that way.
Yeah, well, I guess what people would hope is that, like he said from the beginning, if he had just funded his campaign all himself and not accepted any donations, you'd still have constituents, but you could theoretically imagine, at least, if you sort of closed one eye and squinted the other, that maybe he would not play favorites to people because he doesn't need the money.
Right.
He's the guy who could go in there and say, you know what, I'm just doing whatever I want to do. Wherever that leaves me at the end of this, I'm sure I'm still going to have a few $100 million and a few private islands and some jets and whatever else. And so, you can flame me if you want.
Right. The thing about it, one of the problems is the government has become such a multi-tentacled octopus with these little streamers or fingers or whatever in everything. Mm-hmm. So everybody goes to the government for it. And that's the problem.
These days, yeah.
The problem is that they have taken over so many things that should be in the private sector. You look at stuff like anytime there's a merger of any consequence, Justice Department and those other people marching. I'm saying, get out of the way, And they delay it forever and
too much market share.
And they are so stupid about this, about economics and about. But again, if you happen to be one of the big guys. And one of the third big guy, and these other two big guys are, you're going to say no. They're going to be too big for me to compete now.
Sure.
And so
the mom and pop people are busy at home working.
Yeah.
Can't even send a kid up there to hold a sign that says don't exclude us.
Yeah. And of course they'll lie to your face, as you know. They'll say, well, thank you for your time. We'll take that under consideration. Next. But I'm saying is that when they take over all the things that they have done over the years, they do the same thing here locally. On my Monday morning rant, I read off the number. There were 19 meetings of special interest groups. Nothing to do. These were advisory committees.
Right.
And they have their finger on the pulse.
That was from Sunday. Yeah,
that was from Sunday. Every Sunday they publish this list of public meetings.
Yeah, and I want you to do the library one independently.
Oh, okay. You're waiting for that one. Yes,
exactly.
I forgot about that. I do have to do the library one again. It's overdue.
Yeah, I think so.
It's been almost a decade.
It should be an annual event that we renew.
Because one of the things we really like about it is I get pilloried.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point.
thing. Yeah, the number of watches the dislikes,
Oh yeah.
400 dislikes.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, moving along to the next subject.
Okay. All right, where are we headed now?
Okay, we're heading to probably someplace in Africa, South
Okay.
African.
I gotcha.
Okay, good. So Kerry and the African ministers are to meet on the South Sudan violence in Somalia, I guess. Yeah, I mean, really, this is really so. He's
Bringing in the big guns.
big
huh?
guns. That's right.
John Kerry.
Nairobi, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and his counterparts from 8 African nations meet in Nairobi on Monday to discuss ways to prevent South Sudan from sliding back into a civil war.
He's qualified to negotiate for hundreds of dollars worth of.
Yeah, right. So he's it's funny. He on Tuesday he travels to someplace or another, Nigeria, historic Muslim city in the remote northwest, followed by talks, mind you, talk with Nigerian President, whatever he is. We will talk about how to move forward in trying to implement peace in this country, a senior...
In our time,
right, exactly. The people of South Sudan have suffered for too long. Continued instability there has led to almost 1 million refugees. That's what you need. Humanitarian crisis is far beyond the abilities of even the international community to respond to. Of course, it might not have been if nobody had monkeyed with them. If they'd kept it local, you don't know.
Yeah.
The international community has poured billions of aid into supporting the world's youngest nation. Billions. International community, which gained independence in 2011. Oil production is by 4. There you go. Oil. It's all about the money, and they are. That's why you have billions
trying to stabilize
the pumps out of the country. Worsening, and of course they're worried about a return to civil war that erupted in 2013, 3 years ago. So now they've had a 2.5 year respite, and let's go back. And of course it's along ethnic lines.
Yeah.
Whoever.
This is the old Tutsis and the Hutsis, or Tutsis and the Hutus.
It's tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you talk about
tribal stuff. I mean, what are you going to... You talk about different cultures. I mean,
right.
It's one thing to have a French Western culture versus a German Western, but these guys are like totally different.
Yeah.
I mean,
he wears his bone through the left ear.
Exactly.
I wear my bone through the right ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's never the twain shall meet.
No. I mean, those are... We'll throw a spear at them.
Yeah.
On Monday, Kerry will meet with the Kenyan president, whoever, before joining foreign ministers Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, Djibouti, Tanzania, Somalia, and Ethiopia to discuss, talk, South Sudan and Somalia. So anyway, world powers and regional states have struggled to find leverage.
It's probably a good place for John Kerry. It really is. He probably should be negotiating treaties between small villages in Sudan.
Yeah.
And he can probably handle that. You got really don't throw the spears, and then you guys don't put the fire thing on the other guys. Stuff like that. I mean, then that would be he maxes out right about there from my leave him there.
Yeah. The little problem that
come
you've got
back.
is that even the 10-year-old kids got AK-47s full auto. I mean, it's not like they're really, it's not like the big bad wolf that's just blowing a house down or anything. This is real death. So, and of course that's why they have like 1 million refugees or whatever that have to move out. The UN. Ooh, they want to be involved. They have launched an investigation into accusations that UN peacekeepers failed to respond. Blah blah. Kerry's talks with Kenyatta. He will also discuss Kenya's presidential election set for August in 2017. What like you say, I guess it's because he's out of the way, and he's. I don't know if he's going to be. He's not going to be vice president after the 20th of January.
You mean Secretary of State?
Oh, he might be. Yeah, that's right. He might be if
Hillary's in there,
Hillary,
she could theoretically leave him there.
Yeah, right. Well, So anyway, in a letter to Kerry before his visit, the Human Rights Watch group, say that 10 times, urged him to discuss rights concerns with Kenyatta. The group said it had documented 34 cases of killings, 11 deaths, blah blah, state custody, blah blah, and so forth. So if he would go over there and chit chat about that, what? I mean,
I'd rather have him there than in Europe, where
he
stuff
can
matters.
Really,
where he can agree to some hideous deal on our behalf.
yeah. But this just points out again. This is what is he? What are we doing? What is he? We? Whatever you want to call it. And he is the we. You know, they say we need to do. That's John Kerry what we're talking about, and not me.
Right.
And that's what always upsets me when somebody says, "Well, we need to get together." And no, I don't know. Who are you talking about? How do you do it except at the point of a gun?
Yeah, well, and I don't mind the United States sending envoys out to various countries to talk. That's not a big troublemaking activity or anything. I mean, it's
so
meddling or whatever, but
again, it's one of these things. You know, somebody makes you go over to Japan and you forget to bow or something or whatever the heck it is. I mean,
that's a real place. I mean, Japan versus Sudan, which is like
not a real. Yeah, you didn't.
You know, I mean,
yeah,
it's.
Well, John Kerry has to dress up in the local costumes. You know, wear a sari or something like that.
Maybe.
You know,
I'm sure he does.
Well, I know that when Obama went to Indonesia, didn't he put on the garb? I think he did.
You mean as a kid?
No, as president.
Recently. Yeah. Well, they have special outfits and stuff that they give you for some of those conferences. Like the Chinese one, he was wearing like the Chinaman's outfit and stuff.
Okay.
But.
Okay. Well, I'm done with that. The only stuff I have left, we got. Well, I've only been on for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into some anecdotal stuff?
Sure. You got anything?
Yeah, I got.
Let me beam you back to Paris or something here. Okay, you're back.
Okay. The Fed launched a Facebook page. How are we doing?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I did hear
it. It was buried. I mean, there was like 1,000 comments just pivoting and just saying, "You suckers, you have ruined this. You got out of time." I mean, it was just not exactly what they were expecting.
Yeah, they must be like collecting names or something on that one.
Well, of course, a lot of that stuff comes through, Rob 123 or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, interestingly, I got I'll tell you an interesting story, a little anecdote that goes right along with this. About 2 months ago, I got a friend request from what looked like a pretty girl, and I clicked on it to see if I knew her or what. A little thumbnail,
Right.
It comes up. The only information that it had about this girl, who was very cute, was that she worked for the Fed. That was it. Just a girl works for the Fed. I get a friend request, and I thought, that's odd. I mean, what does that mean? So I accepted.
No.
Oh yeah. No, I totally accepted, and I wrote her a little message to see if she was a real person or something.
Yeah.
I said, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
By the way, no response.
No.
And then like her birthday notice came up. No other posts or anything have I seen from this person or whatever. This person. But a birthday thing came, and I said, no, happy birthday. By the way, what's happening?
Yeah.
From your perspective on the inside? No response. So I don't know if they're gathering.
This is spam stuff. I always dump those people.
I would have, except it was the Fed.
Right.
I was just curious to see if it was a campaign.
I'd be panicked.
So they could say,
search around to make sure there wasn't a virus in there, of course.
Oh, it probably was. I mean, I'm virus laden over there. It's it's all. But fortunately, I have a Mac, so
Not as bad as it could be.
yeah.
Okay. Now, the next little anecdotal thing I've got this is kind of interesting. Man accused of unprovoked attack on interracial couple.
Okay.
What happened was in Olympia, Washington, police say a man who told police he was part of a white supremacist group stabbed an interracial couple outside a bar in Olympia in a case that has garnered national attention. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
He's jailed on $500,000 bail.
He stabbed somebody.
For assault and malicious intent. they said it appeared to be unprovoked and that he made racist statements to the officers. The Olympian reported that the deputy prosecutor, Wheeler, said in court Monday that has all the hallmarks of a hate. Nobody died, by the way, and it was not totally non-threatening, not life-threatening or anything. But again, stabbing is an offense of some kind. But the and of course they said the prosecutor, whatever it is, said this black and white couple were simply expressing their love for one another. So my guess is, inside or outside of the bar, they were smooching it up or doing whatever it was, and it infuriated this guy, and so he whipped out his pocket knife or whatever and stabbed him. But $500,000 seems a little.
No. Well, that's a theoretical attempted murder. I mean,
But it didn't say attempted murder.
Well, let me tell you, very, very few people go stabbing people. I mean, that's a real crime, and you've got to be off your rocker if you want to kill somebody.
Well, it was outside a bar. I think there was alcohol involved.
Well, there might have been, but
he didn't mean to.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there's a bond at all. I mean, that's a hand-to-hand attack. You got to be insane to try to kill somebody in a distance that they can kill you back in.
Right.
Okay. I mean, that's like even people, I've defended people who've tried to kill people, and they protect themselves. They get a little distance, or they try to do it in a way that doesn't endanger them. Walking up with a knife is like the most dangerous thing you do. They could take the knife away from you and cut your butt, And so, my sense from just the bare face reading of that is the dude's insane, probably has a severe, he's probably one of these radical Muslim people who has some severe
dislike. It didn't say anything about him being Muslim on this, I don't think.
Did it say anything about his religion or anything?
No. It's just he was
skinhead,
part of a white supremacist.
A white supremacist group. Okay, so he's a super crazy white dude.
Yeah.
And it's just one of these people who just loses his mind when he sees...
Well, again, alcohol, I'm sure, was outside of a bar. They just come out of the bar. So I think that alcohol could have been very easily involved.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is the... I should have sent you a picture on this. This is it says Pokemon Go may just have shown us what the end of the world looks like. A surreal video that purports to show thousands of Pokemon Go players in Taiwan stampeding after a Snorlax, which apparently is one of the rare Pokemon things.
Okay.
And I saw they had the picture, and I don't think I sent it to you. It's too unverified video is shown on Facebook, and it could be just clickbait, who knows what. But they apparently, as you know, with the social media, and especially in Taiwan, I don't know how many people live there, but it's a bunch, and they're all walking around with Pokemon Go. It's taken over Asia. And so the Snorlax was waiting for them, as alleged, so they took off en masse. And even though it's not authenticated, and we haven't gone through Snopes or anything, but focus of thousands of players, grouping and marching in, stomping all over the place to find this Snorlax or whatever it is. Overcrowding is so intense, reports say, that the Civil Defense Brigade had to be called in, along with police reinforcements. And of course, it says the Pokemon Go craze is causing disturbance in many parts of Asia. The Thai principal Bangkok police have threatened to arrest pedestrians and motorists playing the game on major roads because of the number of accidents that the game has caused. In Cambodia, players have caused outrage by chasing Pokemon in the whatever it is, apparently the slang, whatever it is, genocide museum. Apparently there's a Pokemon character in there, and they get all upset when people are marching through with their...
Well, as we talked about, man, we solved this problem there. Whoever's placing those Pokemon needs to call up a bunch of businesses.
Yeah.
And
say, we'll get one for you.
That's right. We'll license your Snorlax. It'll be in your museum or whatever, and they got to pay $5 a piece to get in.
Yeah.
So line them up.
Line them up. That's right. Or if it's Bob's mattresses.
Yeah. Right at the other side of the store.
Yeah. Come on down. I'm crazy. Oh,
Crazy
there's
Bob.
a Pokemon creature.
That's right.
Come and get him. We'll talk about it. So anyway, that's it. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah. So this is the Monday afternoon, 4 o'clock show here on YouTube. Please give us a like if you see us, and we'll be back more than likely tomorrow at about 4 o'clock.
Yeah, well, we're gonna make it on time, whether we're ready or not.
I see.
From now on.
Yeah.
I was just trying something, and once I got into it, I wasn't gonna be thwarted there. So
It's not like you.
yeah, right.
It's not like me, anyway.
Give up easy.
Yeah, no. Screw it. I know. So anyway, thanks for watching, and
Send us a message.
yeah, send us a message. It doesn't get rendered for 8 hours or something.
Something like that.
A
Yeah.
long time. So if you weren't watching this, you have to wait 8 hours.
Yeah. If you missed anything, well, actually, yesterday's was up in like 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
up by the time we got back from the store there.
Well, that's good. All right, we're excited.
Yeah. So see you next time.
Yeah, we'll have some more background, maybe some more backdrops that are appropriate.
Backdrops. What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean? I was actually there. Well, as soon as we figure out how to video where we are, that'll be great.